offices, 109 West Main, room 270, Cortez, Colorado. We're going to open with the Pledge of Allegiance and then a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Don, can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Farian,
Here.
Commissioner Pierce,
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Unmute yourself.
John, are you there?
I am here, present.
Thank you. Commissioner Taylor.
Here. Also present is Don Haley and Jane Duncan of the County Planning. Absent is Commissioner Rosso, Saunders, and please silence or turn off your cell phones. If you need to take a call, you can take it out in the hallway. We're gonna, Planning and Zoning Commission minutes will be reviewed for the May meeting in this meeting, and I'll entertain a motion.
I'm sorry, I was not paying attention.
A motion to approve the minutes from last
I
month.
move to approve last month's meeting minutes.
Okay.
I didn't read them, but our second.
Okay. And then a vote.
Commissioner Farian,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez. Was that an aye?
Yes, aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
And no further discussion on the motion. Motion was passed. Motion was carried. The vote was unanimous. The Montezuma County Planning Commission welcomes you to this meeting. This is a board comprised of members who are tasked to make recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. We are not the decision makers. We encourage public comment after each permit. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, depending on the number of people wishing to speak. It may be reduced at the discretion of the Planning Commission to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address their thoughts and concerns. When addressing the commission, please come to the podium, state your name and your address for the record prior to providing your comments. Comments to individual applicants are not permitted. Participants may not yield their time to others as well. And I will be voting this evening. Can I get roll call?
Commissioner Farian,
Here.
Commissioner Pierce,
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Notice is hereby given to the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission notice is hereby given that the Montezuma Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed single lot development and AR 10-34 rezoning application submitted by Daniel and Amanda Ryan on property located at 17390 Road 23, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 40.46 acres, more or less, located north of Road T, east of Road 23, situated in Section 16, Township 37 North, Range 16 West, New Mexico Prime Meridian. This one is being continued to next month.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to continue this to next
That would
month.
be to July 14th.
Till July, okay.
I make a motion to continue
Okay.
item number 1 till the July meeting.
Second that.
Okay. All right, and vote.
Commissioner Farian,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Motion was carried and the vote was unanimous. Can I get roll call, please?
Commissioner Farian?
Here.
Commissioner Pierce?
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez?
Here.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
All right. Notice is hereby given to the Montezuma, given that the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing to review and determination of a proposed after-the-fact high-impact and special use permit application and commercial plan unit development application submitted by Stanley Investments, LLC, agent BlaineBowers, on a property located at 6572 Road 24, Units 1 through 5, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 2.27 acres, more or less, located south of Road G, east of Highway 491, situated in Section 10, Township 35 North, Range 16 West, New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Yes, sir.
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors submitted?
Yes, sir.
Was the sign posted?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does the applicant want to come up front here?
You'll need to turn that mic on, Blaine, and pull it up to your mouth. Thank you.
Thank you. And can we have planning department findings?
Sure. The applicant is requesting an after-the-fact commercial plan unit development and an after-the-fact high-impact and special use permit for the addition of 6 new apartment complex units to the existing 5 apartment complex that is already there. The infrastructure and driveway access are already in place for many, many years. That's basically it.
Okay. Any planning commission discussion?
When was the new complex completed?
December of 2021.
And all the units are, I drove down there today, it looks like there might be one vacancy.
Yeah, I think he's got them all rented out, Stan, I'm not sure, but there might be one vacant, yes.
I'm on the water board for Montezuma County. And I realize you're on a 5/8 inch tap. Is pressure pretty bad?
It's not. As a matter of fact, we went to Blue Door. As a matter of fact, I contacted Montezuma Water and they told me I needed to deal with Blue Door down there. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And so they told us as of right now, they wouldn't even entertain us purchasing a water tap because there's, I guess they're in the process of putting a new Love's truck stop.
The pressure is not good down there.
Yeah, and there was gonna be a lot of
we're working
infrastructure
that out.
work with that new Love's truck stop. And they said it wouldn't do us any good to purchase a tap now when they're gonna change everything anyway. So he was just gonna contact Stanley Investments at that time if it ever happened. And then, so he allowed us to go ahead and tap into
Yeah.
the main line there. And he said really the only time we'd have any problems if every apartment had their shower going at the same time. So, but we've been operational for 6 months now and haven't had any issues. So,
We'll probably contact you in the future about when we get our pressure problem resolved.
sure.
Okay.
Anything else? That's good. Did you have anything to add?
No, I sure don't. I
Okay.
sure don't.
Okay, we're open it to public comment. Okay, seeing as there is none, I will entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to Montezuma County County Commissioners to recommend approval for this project proposed after the fact. High impact and special use permit application, commercial plan unit development application submitted by Stanley Investments, LLC, agent BlaineBowers, based on the following. Proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available should support uses consistent with proposed zoning. I would add that a condition might be that at some point the water company will ask you to come and talk to them about different water situations.
Exactly, yeah, and they made that comment that probably in the future down the road, they would be contacting Stanley Investments for a water tap purchase.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
okay. Any further discussion? Okay, then I'll call a vote.
Commissioner Farian,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Motion was carried, the vote was unanimous. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Don't need your sign back.
Okay, can I get a roll call?
Commissioner Farian,
Here.
Commissioner Pierce,
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
All right, notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed two-lot moderate and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by William and Catherine Boyles on property located at 13550 Road 42, Mancos, Colorado, consisting of 27.5 acres, more or less, located east of Road 42, situated in Section 2, Township 36 North, Range 13 West, New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing, was public notice published.
Yes, sir?
Was evidence of letters to adjoining neighbors submitted?
Yes, sir?
Was a sign posted?
Yes, sir?
Can we have department findings? Oh,
Yes.
applicant, can we have you come forward? I'm sorry.
Chairman, we need to make one clarification. This is a two-lot minor, not a two-lot moderate.
Okay. So proposed two-lot minor subdivision.
Correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Boyles proposed to divide their property into one 3-acre parcel and one 24.5-acre parcel, creating a two-lot minor subdivision. The property currently has 2 homes on it right now, so all the infrastructure and driveway accesses are in place.
okay. What is
Are both places on a cistern?
Yes, they each have their own cistern.
what's the thought process between the dividing line here?
Well, there's an arena there in the front, so like our home is up to on the top corner, and then there's an
Ma'am,
arena that we have.
Ma'am, would you speak into the microphone, please?
And the line, then we have barns and we have structures. And so our tenants here and my husband and I walk the property to find what was satisfactory to both parties in the way that the land is and the way that the structures are. As you can see, there's a barn there.
Okay,
And once upon a time, obviously, this property was, a rectangle was cut out, so we are a little narrow there. But it flows well, better than it looks probably on our property,
okay.
so.
And then right there at the point between the new division line and the existing point, do we know what that distance is? That short area there? Is it more than 60 feet? Okay.
yards, so under about 45 feet.
45 feet. Does that require variance?
No, the only reason it'd have to be a 60-foot,
Just
is
easement?
if there was room for development to the east there. The surveyor's gonna have to make sure the setback from that small shed or building and then what the distance is there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, this is probably one that'll need to have the survey work done prior to the county commissioners meeting.
Is that a small outbuilding right there, just
It
above
is.
the night?
It is, and we've removed the little round pen, you can kind of see a circle, that's no longer. And that is little structure, I mean, we're not like married to it. Everything else has to stay, that that could go if we had to move it.
Is the setback 25 feet on outbuildings?
30 for outbuildings, 30 for residences.
So that would look to be a variance there.
Yeah, but we want to avoid that if at all possible.
So, this structure in the back is not a house.
No.
No,
there's-
no.
The houses are up front,
Yeah.
this is a building, but there's a
What's that, a
smaller.
barn?
Yeah, we have a boat in it.
Oh,
It's just,
okay.
it's open, it has a
Everybody has
roof,
to-
but it's open, yeah.
I was more concerned about that small outbuilding. No, right here, this little one.
Yeah,
Because if that gap's 45 feet, then they're under the 30-foot setback.
I have a question.
Go ahead, John.
Why 3 acres? What, and as opposed to 5 or greater?
Wasn't it 3.75 that we figured?
375. We did hope to do more, but that was what you guys.
Right, and that's really it. It's just the price that, you know, they are willing and can get a loan for. And also, my husband and I are keeping this property and having our children live on it eventually, so it's, you know, we just, again, both agreed in the whole family and that we like this breakdown, that's
That
the
layout.
only reason.
Okay. So how would they avoid the variance?
Move the shed.
Just
Yeah,
underneath the shed?
Move the shed would be probably the least costly.
Yeah, the least costly for you guys.
Yeah,
'Cause
the
it is a 30-foot
surveyor's gonna
setback.
have to figure out what the real distance is there from the corner pin and
Okay,
see what's available.
So outbuildings have to be 30 foot off of the property line. So that could be a potential issue where that line is currently showing. So you'll have to, when you get the actual survey done, depending on where that line lands, you may or may not have to move that outbuilding.
okay,
Because that's probably gonna be your most cost-effective way to go about it.
good.
okay.
May I just ask what the 60-foot number was about as well?
Well, that's typically for access, for like easements through, it's usually 60 foot. And so if you were ever to sell off that 3 acres in the back, rezoning that portion of it, which you're not gonna be able to at this point, but typically 60 foot is that measurement.
And we had talked about, you know, an easement or right-of-way access to the road that's on their property. Is there anything I need to consider in terms of making sure we're doing that correctly?
Right away through their property onto yours? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay, because is there access already generated off of Road 42?
There is, that's in the real estate agreement that you have a right to use the driveway, and that's the.
on your property, yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything the committee knew that we needed to be careful about.
I mean, if there is if you're accessing it from their property onto yours, and you're granting him that, that easement does need to be recorded and surveyed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else you guys wanted to add?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. Planning and zoning discussion?
No.
We'll open it up to public comment. If you want to comment, please, sir, come to the podium. State your name and address.
My name is Jerry Gunter from 42699 Highway 160, Mancus. I have the property appears to be between the yellow line on the.
That's another issue.
That's a different issue?
We're addressing this one currently, this permit, sir.
This is a Jackson Lake.
Oh, okay. I'll reserve my comment for when it's appropriate. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other public comment? Seeing as no more, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to accept the proposed two lot moderate and minor, and AR 3 through 9 rezoning application submitted by William and Catherine Voiles based on the following. That the proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant or adverse impacts on the other property in the area, and public utilities and services are available and can be made available. Conditions to the motions would be moving the shed to avoid variances on that narrow strip.
And I would suggest having that survey done prior to going to the county commissioners, so that it's clear on what's being done there.
Okay, yeah, I've talked to Gerald quite a few times, so.
Okay,
Perfect.
I second that motion.
okay, and any further discussion? If not, I'll call a vote.
Commissioner Farian,
Here, or yes, aye, jeez.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Nay.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Okay, the motion was carried. The vote was, 3-1?
Correct.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Can I get roll call?
Commissioner Farian,
Here.
Commissioner Pierce,
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
All right, notice is hereby given that Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for the review and determination of a proposed subdivision amendment application to the Highland Terrace Major Subdivision submitted by Bert and Deborah Ramsey on property located at TBD Road K8, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 0.63 acres, more or less, located north of Road K.8, west of Highway 491, situated in Section 22, Township 36 North, Range 16 West, New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing, was a public notice published.
Yes, sir?
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors submitted.
Yes, sir?
Was a sign posted?
Yes, sir?
Okay, you guys want to come forward? None. Good, you?
Good.
All right, Jane, can we have department findings?
Sure. Bert and Deborah are proposing to change lot number A of the Highland Terrace subdivision back to its original 2 acres. Back in, I guess it was 2017, the lots 1 through 9 were amended to change them to lots A, B, C, D, and E. And the Ramseys own both lots A and B, and they just want to take lot A back to its original 2 lots.
Okay,
Are there covenants with that subdivision?
Yes.
Yes. The
Does the
existing
covenant say,
covenants would cover,
do the covenants say that the members of the subdivision have to approve this?
not everybody. No, it would just be the adjoining lot owners.
have to
And the
approve.
covenants of the subdivision will cover these lots. There won't be any special covenants or anything added to that.
So just the adjoining properties of that subdivision have to give approval. Have we received approval from all
Well, we-
adjoining?
We sent out our notices like we were.
We did not receive anything, opposition or anything from any of the surrounding neighbors.
And their neighbors, they own the lot to the,
Yeah, they're
To the
one of their
north.
own neighbors.
Right, but the lot to the
right.
west.
Mhm.
So is a non-answer the same as an approval? As far as covenants are concerned?
Say that again.
Is a lack of answer the same as an approval?
Typically, because they do have a certified notice and we had no
Yes.
contacts.
And this
we
subdivision
will-
was originally created in 1959.
Yeah, and they're just taking it back to what it was
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's just putting that line back in, so you're in line with all the other lots up there. And the last one, with the cul-de-sac the way it is, it doesn't, you'd have to do quite a bit there, but that's a clean,
Okay.
the ability to do that's fairly clean.
You also own the other lot, right?
On the cul-de-sac, yeah, continuing on.
But it's only got one building
Yeah, we-
site because of the
Yeah. You'd have
highway.
You'd have to work to change that, I think.
Okay,
And also because this subdivision was created in 1959, all lots are basically the size of city lots.
okay. Is there, I'll open it up to public comment.
My name is Mick McGuire. I'm right here, 24262.
Hi, Mick.
Hi. I'm just wondering, are you gonna put
Sir,
single-family
Sir.
lots there?
please address your questions to us. No, no, yeah, it's okay. Thank you, though.
I just wanna know if he's gonna put 2 single-family dwellings there or low-income apartments or what the plan is.
Okay.
I'll answer that. The intention's to put just homes on it, just regular homes, on that one. I mean, they're too small to put any kind of apartments or anything on it.
What size will the lots be when they're divided?
So they're currently 0.63 acres. Or the one lot is 0.63 acres, so it'll be a quarter of an acre, looks like.
Each lot will be 3.1 or 3.2, more or less.
Little over a quarter of an acre.
That's a pretty good size lot.
Yeah, they're bigger than most of the city lots.
Sure.
And
But
the
it is
set,
unusual for
this,
within the county.
the setbacks are 30 feet from the road, 7 feet on the property lines, both sides and the back.
So does that leave room enough for a septic system?
Yeah, it's a third of an acre.
Yeah, and that would still have to be done through an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So if there were issues with the actual logistics of that engineering drawing, that's where that would be halted.
Okay, I've got no problem, I just
Mm-hmm.
used to live on Oak, and they started to build there, and then they were gonna put a whole string of low-income apartments across the street from, and I went and objected to that, and if that's what you were gonna do, sir, I was gonna object, but I got no problem.
No, and I've talked to a couple of the septic guys, and there's kind of plans. Tentative anyways, but yeah. So I want to make sure that we were on the same page before we did that, so.
Of course.
Okay, got no problem, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other public comment? All right, I will entertain a motion.
Do you have any plans to build now? Have you,
Nothing set in stone now.
have you looked into water taps, are they?
I've got taps.
Okay.
I've got taps, and I thought they had to clear that, but they said we'd be good. So,
Good.
well, we got 2 and now have 3 lines, but.
So you'll have to have an additional tap for that.
Yeah, but they said there's no problem. They run, the hydrant's 30 feet, so I think they've, I'm not sure what size it is, 54 probably. But-
Okay.
And it runs to the end, the hydrant's at the cul-de-sac, so, on our side. So.
Any further discussion?
Yes, I do. I have questions, Commissioner Farron.
Okay,
It's kind of hard for me to hear, so I want to be sure I understand what the proposal is. This was an old subdivision of 1959, correct?
correct,
And they were 2 lots at that time,
correct,
and subsequently, somebody joined the 2 lots to 1, and now we want to split them back to 2.
correct.
Okay, now, and there are no covenants within this subdivision.
No, it does have covenants. The lots will be governed by those covenants without any new covenants being added.
Okay, and I heard the question from Commissioner Farron, that the covenants that exist do not require this kind of rejoining of the lot?
This was, in the original covenants, this is the way this was.
The original covenants cover that, all those as separate lots, if that's what you're asking.
When it was a single lot, it was governed by the covenants of the entire subdivision. At the time it was split, I'm asking, was the subdivision owners required to approve? And if they were, are they also required now to reapprove it coming back into a single lot? I did not hear the result of that question that Commissioner Farron asked.
So John, after posing that question, the follow-up was that a lack of response to the notice, to the public notice and the letters given, a lack of response was looked at as an approval.
Okay. Good enough.
And just, I don't know if Jane covered that or not, the county commissioners have giving a variance for the size of these lots to be created since they are within the county and do not meet the 3-acre minimum. But they have attained that variance. It's been recorded for these size of lots because of the conditions. That has been approved and recorded.
Was that recorded at the original development of that subdivision?
This variance was recorded just a couple weeks ago
Oh, okay, for this specific
for
one.
these two specific lots.
Okay.
Correct.
Any further discussion? Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I move, excuse me, I move to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners for a proposed subdivision amendment application to the Highland Terrace Major Subdivision submitted by Bert and Deborah Ramsey based on the following. That the proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with the proposed zoning. I have no conditions to that motion.
Okay,
I second.
Commissioner Hernandez seconds. Any further discussion on the motion? Okay, then we'll call it a vote.
Commissioner Farian,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Motion was carried, vote was unanimous. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can I get a roll call?
Commissioner Farian,
Here.
Commissioner Pierce,
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
All right, notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed single lot development and AR 10-34 rezoning application submitted by Robbins Family Ranches LLC agent Brian McLaughlin on property located at 10,005 Road 43, Mancos, Colorado, consisting of 134.01 acres, more or less, located west of Road 34, north of Highway 160, situated in Section 22, Township 36 North, Range 13 West, New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Yes, sir?
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors submitted?
Yes, sir?
And was the sign posted?
Yes, sir?
Okay. Can we have the participant come forward? Oh, you're already there. Sorry. Planning Department findings?
The applicant proposes to create a single lot development separating the existing residence along with 23 acres, more or less. The remainder will be 111 acres, more or less, and it will continue to be agriculture in nature. All of the infrastructure and driveway access is already in place, and that's about it.
So, let's see. So this, Don, this is the dividing line here, the yellow?
That is the 60-foot access and utility easement.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the southern half of that has an easement on it.
Okay. What about that top portion?
Up here,
Yeah,
where this access road is to the back.
okay.
I don't know if, have you surveyed that yet, Brian? What's the,
Yeah.
what's the proposed distance between the north property line and this new property line? Roughly.
Maybe I have it here. I do not. It's roughly 60 feet.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, roughly 30 feet, but that's, the proposed 60-foot access and utility easement that's
Mhm.
on there is, for future development of,
To the back.
to the back
Okay.
of the narrow strip up there is, the road that's in use right now.
Right. But you've got at least 15, 20 feet in there or so?
It's 30 feet,
Oh, okay.
plus. And it gets a little wider towards the end,
Okay.
towards the southwest there.
Mhm.
Question, that 60-foot easement to the south, that is all usable? Looks like it might be near some ponds?
It's right up against those, pond banks.
Okay. But it is usable, 60 foot is usable?
Yes, it used to be a railroad, grade. As far as I can, my research shows it to be an old railroad grade down through there.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, I'll open it to public comment. Please come to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Jerry Gunter, 42699 Highway 160, Mancus. I have the property to the south of the yellow line there, over to the Highway 160.
Okay,
And I have property on both sides, the north and the south side of the Mancus River. And I need to have easement, as I have now, to my property on that side. There is a road that goes from highway, or Road 43, that cuts down here now into the house. And if it's, the railroad grade is also on my property, the Galloping Goose. And I need access all the way to my property along that yellow line that would extend to the western portion of my property.
so your entrance is in that 60-foot section, but then turns down into your section
My main
a ways in there.
entrance is off Highway 160, but I also need to access my property on the other side, and there's a easement that was given by the Robbins, so I could access that, and there's existing gates there that I can access, but I just need to have that somehow, if that's gonna be developed, that is in the document somewhere, that I'll still be able to have access to my property there.
Was that a verbal easement that they had given you, or was that a written easement?
I think it's
The
in,
Robbins family
that's
agreement
in theirs. I'm not sure it's in my deed or not.
Okay.
Have you had discussions with the,
Pardon?
have you had discussions with the Robbins family?
Yes, yeah, and they said there's, I have access to, if I can point out where that road is off of 43. It goes and then gives access to that house to the north of that one pond that you see. Then about where that red line is, just the south of those ponds, that's where the existing drive is.
So you're talking access off of 43, so you can access your property north of the Mancos River?
Yeah, and that's an existing drive now to access this house north of the ponds.
Mr. Gunther, the board, the planning and zoning board, it's not up to us to grant right-of-ways or anything like that. That would be a private treaty, issue between you and Mr. McLaughlin, and also follow through with clerk and recorder's office, whether it's been recorded at the time that you'd made that arrangement with Robin's family. There wouldn't be anything that we could do to assist you in implementing that.
Okay.
I'd be glad to speak with you after we're done here.
Sure.
There you go.
All right, I thought maybe Don and those guys would be here tonight, but, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
My childhood residence is the 10,005 County Road 43. My question is, why is there going to be an easement right there when there's going to be another road running up top that they can get access to the back from that road up top? There's no need for that easement to come right through my place by the ponds in 26 acres when they have already put a road up top.
And which property is yours?
Well, hopefully it's in the process of being mine. It was my childhood home, and it should be going to me.
So you're talking about the 23 acres
Yes.
with the home on it currently and the ponds?
Yes.
Dave, can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's not a whole lot of room on top there. The fence is built along there's
You guys have a whole
a rim there, and there's like 30 feet between that rim and the property to the north. And it would just choke future development of the property to the west.
Well, it would screw up my pond system and our irrigation system. It runs right by the ponds. And they would have access to go, if they have that road, then they wouldn't need to go right through my 23 acres and cut out even more acreage just to have a road.
Okay.
So putting a road in there would knock down how many more acres? It wouldn't even be 23.
It would be easement, but it would be,
Would it be usable?
it would be, you wouldn't be able to fence it or
Well, it wouldn't be able to
like
fence it,
keep
wouldn't be
anybody
able to
out.
raise it. Yeah, people would be flying by.
Okay, let's keep everything this way,
So-
okay?
I guess I'm confused. Where's your property that it runs through?
Are you
I'm
Brianna? I'm sorry, I didn't catch
I'm
the.
Autumn Dennison.
Okay.
My mother lived there her whole life. That's my childhood home. She had passed, and so this 23 acres should be going to me. And I'm just kind of wondering, why would they need that easement when they've got this stuff up top?
So are you currently in the process of purchasing this from the Robbins family?
I'm currently in the works with my N.M.P.M, yes.
Okay.
So your family's proposing the easement?
Yes. And this is the first I've heard about that.
Oh, I think that's a discussion you need to have with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
All we know is what they're given to the agent and the surveyor.
Okay, so, but would you,
I would say if you have an issue with the 60-foot easement, then that is a discussion you need to have with the people that you're purchasing this land from.
so, but do they really need they need a road up top and then one on the bottom?
That's something that they can have. That's something that they can have.
Okay,
They're proposing a recorded easement on that bottom half of the property. If that's not something you like in the negotiations of that purchase, that's something you need to address with them.
okay, so then if they subdivide that bottom, then everybody can use that? It's public access or it's not personal access?
That easement is for future development of that property
Okay,
behind it, okay? And that is your 3 minutes, ma'am.
okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any further public comment? Any further discussion? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners approval of a proposed single lot development AR 1034 rezoning application submitted by Robbins Family Ranches LLC, agent Brian McLaughlin, based on the following. Proposed use is in conformity with the code. Proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with the proposed zoning.
Second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay,
Commissioner
seeing-
Farian,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Vote was carried, or motion was carried, vote was unanimous. Thank you very much, Brian. All right, can we have roll call?
Commissioner Farian,
Here.
Commissioner Pierce,
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez, Commissioner Hernandez, you there, John?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
All right, notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing and determining recommendations to be made to the Board of County Commissioners regarding a proposed amendment to Lot 3 of the Aldine Acres 7-lot major subdivision and rezoning application submitted by Richard and Melanie McDonald on property located at TBD Road M, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 3.85 acres more or less, located west of Highway 145, north of Road M, situated in Section 12, Township 36 North, Range 16 West, New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Yes, sir?
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors submitted?
Yes, sir?
Was the sign posted?
Yes, sir?
If you want to come forward.
Hey, Rich.
All right. Jane, can we have department findings?
Yes, Rich and Melanie McDonald created the Aldine subdivision not too long ago, and now they are just wanting to rezone Lot 3 to commercial, because it does lie within the commercial overlay zone along Highway 145.
What's that?
Very simple, yeah.
Yeah.
Were there any covenants in that prevented that?
There are no covenants, excuse me, can I approach?
Sure.
There are no covenants that exclude it, and I'd actually had a conversation with Don, and I've done a little research on it. One of his recommendations was to, and I believe it's a recommendation, or I'm not sure if it's an actual land use. Where is it? It's in the application, sorry. That the covenants for this subdivision have been recorded with the county clerk and recorder. The covenants will be required to be amended to reflect the change of the zoning. And I'm not sure, again, Don, you could clear that up. Is that a recommendation, or is that a?
Right, so the covenants, would be amended to reference that lot 3, if approved, would be a commercial lot.
But there were no existing covenants that restricted it from being.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. And, yeah.
I had done some research, and I'm just, if there's not a land use code or a legal reason why, I would rather keep the existing covenants. The covenants that I had researched since speaking with Don, the only time commercial was in the covenants was when it's not allowed. But every lot in the subdivision is in the commercial overlay and has the potential to be commercial.
Sure.
So I don't know that, I don't feel that I should have to amend the covenants, being that they're all potentially a commercial lot.
So my recommendation to him was that they be revised to stipulate that is a commercial lot, because buyers typically will not research past the covenants, and they may not know that there's a commercial lot. Even if they're buying lot 4, they may not realize that lot 3 is a commercial lot, because you don't check the zoning of all the lots in a subdivision.
Right.
And
Find
so
out
I
you have a gas
recommended
station
that it
there.
be stipulated, and we've seen it several times where there's 2 or 3 lots that are commercial in a subdivision. They are expressly noted that, so that it's clear up front and there's no ambiguity.
And your request is that you don't want to amend the covenants?
If there's not a legal reason why, I would rather leave them as they are, but if that's the recommendation to move forward, so be it. I would just prefer to keep them as they are, and when you hire a real estate agent or an attorney, when you buy property, that's kind of their responsibility or their job to walk you through everything and explain what's going on and protect you in that regard. It's kind of the due diligence when you're doing inspections and whatnot, buying property.
I'm gonna agree that the covenants, should be placed redone if it's gonna be a commercial lot now. There's just gonna be more stringent things that should be done on a commercial lot as opposed to residential.
I do think taking the ambiguity out of the covenants is valuable. Designating lot 3, showing that in the covenants that it is in fact a commercial lot. I do think there is value there.
I do agree that there could be value there, but then if down the road, the rest of the 7 lots, every time the covenants will have to be amended for each lot that becomes commercial?
Every time you amend the subdivision, you have to go through the process no matter who the lot owner is. It has to go through 2 public hearings to amend the subdivision at
But
that
so the
point.
covenants would then have to, each time we'll have to keep going and doing
Correct.
that. That's, I was kind of trying to avoid that and just be, they are in a commercial overlay, so I figured we could just leave it and,
Yeah, the commercial overlay zone does not give the property zoning. It just affords it that it's more than likely than not to be approved for change of zoning to commercial or industrial.
okay.
Any other planning discussions? Public comment? Seeing as there is none? Any further discussion? Okay, then we'll entertain a motion.
Move to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners a proposed amendment to lot number 3 of the Aldine Acres 7 lot major subdivision and rezoning application submitted by Richard and Melanie McDonald based on the following. The proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with the proposed zoning. Go ahead, John.
I second.
I do think I do think it's a recommendation to amend your covenants.
That should be on
I think
Yes,
that should be a
would
conditions.
I'll reverse that motion to accept the conditions of the motions to amend your, drawing a blank. Covenants,
Amend the
thank you.
covenant. Yeah.
So amend the covenants prior to the,
As part of the whole process, to amend the covenants, distinguishing Lot 3 as established commercial zone.
okay. And would that need to be done prior to the commissioners' meeting?
No.
Okay. Just want to
Just
clarify.
part of that process.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Okay? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call a vote.
Commissioner Farian?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Motion was carried, vote was unanimous. Good luck.
Thank you.
And
Just bring back the sign, Rich.
can I get roll
Bring
call?
back the sign. You can do it tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
And Melanie missed her chance for more than 3 minutes.
She did.
Let her know.
Can I get roll call?
Commissioner Farian?
Here.
Commissioner Pierce?
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez?
Here.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
How does this work when nobody's here to represent it?
He's on, Danny's on
he's
Zoom.
Oh,
Zoom.
okay, wasn't aware of that, sorry.
Agents on June.
Notice is hereby given that Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed 2-lot subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Carlene Porter, Curtis Case, and Tanya Capps, agent Danny Wilkin, on property located at 15965 Road 21, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 5 acres more or less, located south of Road S, west of Road 21, situated in Section 25, Township 37 North, Range 17 West, New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Yes, sir.
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors submitted?
Sir?
Was the sign posted?
Yes, sir.
All right, and Danny's on Zoom?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Jane, can we have planning department findings?
Sure. The applicants are proposing to separate the property between the 2 existing residences. The applicants have gone before the Board of County Commissioners to request a variance to the minimum lot size of 3 acres and has been granted due to hardship circumstances. All the infrastructure and driveway accesses are in place.
Okay. Danny, did you have anything else to add?
No, I'd just like to take and apologize that I can't be there this evening. My daughter served as a Colorado State FFA officer for the last year, and we're at the state convention where they installed the new officers tonight. So other than that, I'd like to be there.
Please tell her congratulations for us, Danny.
Thank you very much. We're trying to, you guys probably read the packet of the reason we're trying to split this property and stuff. It's really to help Mrs. Capps Hahn be able to move forward with some of the things in her life after her husband passed away in February. And, I think we even though it's not 3 acres, I think we've got something there that will work. We got a variance from the commissioners on a setback issue also. And, we just looked being able to make this move forward, hopefully. So I thank you guys.
Thank you, Danny. Any planning commission discussion? John, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Stan, you good? Okay, we'll open it to public comment.
Jeff?
Okay, seeing as there is none, we will open it to entertain a motion.
I move to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners a proposed proposed two-lot subdivision and AR 3 through 9 rezoning application submitted by Carlene Porter, Curtis Case, and Tanya Capps by agent Danny Wilkin based on the following: that the proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with proposed zoning. And I have no conditions to the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Who was that? John, I think?
John seconded.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the vote.
Commissioner Farian?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Motion was carried and vote was unanimous. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you guys.
Danny, when you get back, just bring back the sign, please.
Okay, yeah, I'll have it to you Monday, Jane. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can we get roll call?
Commissioner Farian?
Here.
Commissioner Pierce?
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez?
Here.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
Any additional discussion items?
I don't have anything on additional discussion. How about you, Shaq?
What do you guys think of a requirement for, short-term rental, owners to be residents of the county?
So if they do Airbnb or something like that, the owners have to be a resident of Montezuma County?
That way, all the tourist proceeds aren't going to absentee owners. My part of the gift to you guys.
I like it.
And you just said that Mancus adopted that, right?
Yeah.
No, Mancus adopted my idea from 2019.
Yep, it was Don's idea first, 3 years ago.
This idea?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I was just clarifying if there was a difference, what your idea was to what.
My original idea was, and we took it to the commissioners, was one, you had to have a special use permit. That way the neighbors knew what was going on before it went on, and then we could track them. And two is that the property owner had to live on the property, so that if there is a problem and you get somebody out of control, the owner's on the property to watch over and not have wild parties and traffic and issues. and the commissioners shot me down.
So Shaq, if what you're saying is they have to live in Montezuma County, the owners of said property, but how would that ever come to us? How would we ever know?
Well, what, the newest thing I proposed was that you had to have owned property in the county for at least 5 years. Not that you have to live here, but you have to own the property.
Gotcha.
So that we're not having these conglomerates come in and buy it all up, put houses on it, and it's all short-term rental and.
But how would you know if somebody turned that property into a short-term rental? How would you guys ever be notified of that?
Well, we're not now because we have nothing in place to track it now.
Right, no permit or
But
anything
if
like
they,
that.
if
So
we
you're
had
saying,
it in place, we would be able to do a special use permit, and they would have to come through the planning process.
that's how.
Yeah, they would still have to get a special
Yeah.
use permit.
Part of what we have a problem with is 600,000 people a year coming to see Mesa Verde and Eddie Mac's place.
And his flag's upside down.
No, not anymore.
Absentee owners buy up these properties and put them on Airbnb, and then there's no affordable housing stock for the people who live and work here because it's all taken up by Airbnbs. If we said you had to be a resident to own a short-term rental, then the profits stay here instead of going to Teton County, Wyoming.
With the inclusion of a special use permit, right?
Yes.
I like it.
What do you think, Stan?
So the numbers are down, huh? We used to get like 1.2 a year.
We're averaging about 600,000 a year right now.
At $4.89 a gallon.
Don't complain, people. I just paid $6.09 in San Diego.
Hey.
Yeah, my daughter says that it's $7 in California in certain places.
John, we can still complain if we want to.
I'm sorry.
You won't get any sympathy from me right now.
Sorry you can't afford gas to get back.
That's it, sorry guys, I'm gonna be off the hook now.
You got 30 days to walk here.
It's miserable around here.
Any comment, John?
I kinda like your idea, Don, that there should be, and I can see where you're going, to make the property owner, really viable and to have hands-on with the rentals. And there should be a way, we should do that in some fashion.
Yeah, I think the minimum 5-year ownership is a big hang-up with our county attorney. He hasn't got back to us in 6 months.
I would say that they need to be a resident.
A residence extreme?
I think you're an extreme resident.
So the crowd is in conflict between a residence and not a residence in 5 years and not. It's more strict to be a residence than 5 years.
To get a resident hunting tag, or to get a resident fishing license, or to be a resident for school, what do you have to be?
12 months,
1 year.
1 year.
12 consecutive months.
And that's fair. Asking somebody to be in 5 years.
So would this be something, an issue that the Planning and Zoning Commission can recommend to the OCC?
Yeah, they can always recommend something. Be careful what comes back at you, though. Because it's always a bigger, uglier boomerang. We'll make sure Region 9 gets included in this conversation.
Housing program manager.
Yeah, I hear that they've got really nice project managers.
Yeah, the stipulation of the term of ownership, I think, is a big hang-up with our attorney, because he hasn't responded.
Who is our county attorney?
I don't think he likes the 5-year, and I don't know if he'll go for a 1-year. But Shaq will follow up on that on Tuesday's meeting. He's making notes.
I mean, I like the idea that the.
Yeah, I mean,
money stays here.
it's a mess now because we've lost complete control of
I don't know, you'd have to ask.
who and how many are doing short-term rentals. So there's no going back to 3 years ago and capturing that. So it's
We'd have to
a
move
mess
forward right
already.
now.
But
So moving forward would be the implementation of a special use permit, and then the qualifications would be that of, they have to be a resident, right,
right.
of Montezuma County.
And I think that a one-year residence is fair, because it's 1 year for everything else.
That's what Colorado identifies as a Colorado resident.
But owning property doesn't, if you're not living there, does not consider you a resident.
True.
Correct, too.
You know, you're up, yeah, I just landed in this county and I come in and swooped up, there's 800 acres right there, 600 acres right behind me that just changed hands.
That's what I'm trying to prevent with the residency requirement.
And they're based out, they're a private investment firm out of Texas. You know what their intentions are.
Yeah, they're gonna put it in a whole bunch of townhouses.
What's funny is people forget to ask about water, and there is none.
Yeah, water's a big factor.
There is no water back there.
And every time an applicant comes into the planning office with an application, and I notify the water district that they're in, especially Mancus has told me several times that the water table in Mancus is very
Just going
limited.
away.
And Jackson Gulch Reservoir is the one that they get their potable water from, and it is a limited source, and pretty soon that they will be cutting off their cell taps. And it's gonna
It was
be
my
pretty-
understanding
it's
they
pretty
already have cut the taps off, unless it's a private treaty with somebody who has an extra tap or two.
Yeah, but, yeah, it's, Mancus is becoming quite restrictive.
Yeah. And this wouldn't prevent anybody from doing long-term rentals, so if you get
Right.
job transferred, you can keep your home here and rent it out for long-term. And I think long-term's over 30 days, I think is the guideline. So it wouldn't have anything to do with that, so,
Right.
you know,
It would just be the determination of what, so it'd be a Montezuma County residence, which, what does that mean?
They have to live here consecutive 12 months.
Live in Montezuma County for a consecutive 12 months.
That's what colleges and universities require in every state.
I'm more inclined to lean towards the residency versus the land ownership,
I would agree with you.
you know, and push that direction.
Anybody could own land.
Anybody can own
Yeah.
land. I can live in Alaska and own my property here
Well, and
and still rent it out.
corporations own land all over. You know, that doesn't mean that that's a Montezuma County residence.
But you have to be present for 12 months.
You
What
prove
about-
it the same way you prove registered, like if you're. going
Yeah,
to
registration
and
for
they
school.
wanted to show you're a resident.
What about snowbirds?
That's a good question. Because we have quite a few snowbirds.
Yep.
Snowbirds would still
They
be,
probably could benefit from putting something like that on short-term rental.
but they would still be considered residents because they're only wintering in a different place.
Well, but, I mean, then you're gonna get 6 months and 6 months, so it's gotta be 1 day over half of 365 days. right?
My understanding definition of residency is receiving utilities at the same residence for consecutive 12 months, regardless whether you're there or not. If you're paying the power bill, you're paying the water bill, you know, that is establishing your residency, of which your snowbirds are doing the same thing. They're still paying to have the heat on, they're still paying for the propane and the electricity, so that may not be, you know, an issue. If I'm wrong on the residency, somebody speak up, but that was my understanding of of what determines residency.
So, but by that same nature, could they not be residents of multiple states then?
Depends on what their driver's license says, I guess.
Snowbirds cannot have more than one driver's license.
Right.
I understand that, so, I mean, if they're down in Arizona for 8 months out of the year, but they get their bills here, everything else here, their driver's license shows here.
Yeah.
Because one of their residences is here,
That
then we
would
fall
be-
into that trap.
Yeah, that would be a very gray area. They would probably be residents of the other place, in my mind.
I like how Shaq drops the bomb and then walks out.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So,
Shaq.
I think the residency is absolutely what it should be, but we also have to set very clear and concise what that means.
That's what Jess says.
You guys are right, and you're on the right track. When I purchased my property, I got power right away. I drilled a well, so I had my own water. And I changed my driver's license, changed my vehicle license plates to Colorado, and I still lived in California, but I was considered a resident because I had mail bills here in Colorado.
Right.
Right,
That's 2 years.
And that's,
2
and
years.
the state recognized you as being a resident,
As a resident.
therefore giving you a Colorado driver's license.
Exactly.
Yeah, before that, yeah. Because I actually had Colorado plates in California.
Did they throw rocks at you like we do here?
No, they were envious.
I think you're gonna have gray area spill over either way, because if you say 12 consecutive months in Montezuma County, okay, the snowbirds could be living other places for 4 or 5 months, they still have a residence here, right? And then you say, okay, it's the majority of your time is spent in Montezuma County, how are you gonna prove that? Right, how are you gonna hold them to that standard?
There'd have to be something that has to be researched.
I don't know what percentage of the snowbirds would be willing to short-term rent Airbnb their place while they're out.
I agree,
I
but
don't know.
I'm
I
just
don't
saying,
know anybody.
inevitably, I think we'll have
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
that.
the example's gonna show up.
Right.
Well, yeah, but right now, I don't know of anybody that rents out their homes while they're in Arizona or Mexico.
Nobody wants to, but
They may have to.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna be a hang up for,
But I think
For
right
that.
now, our biggest concern is the corporations that are coming to buy 600 acres, 1,000 acres.
oh, I agree. I think there is that gray area that we have to be crystal clear on in order for that to go.
Are we talking about a single residence, or are we talking about multiple residents on a large parcel of property?
Just anything that's short-term rental.
I
Anything,
mean, so you wanna interfere with somebody, like I said, Snowbird, going south, but renting his house out for the winter, renting it, for 3 months to 3 different people.
Well, those wouldn't be short-term rental if it's 30 days or more, it's
Okay.
not a short-term rental.
So you're talking about weekly then, shall we say?
well,
Right.
anything less than 30 days.
Right.
Anything less than 30 days. Wow. Okay.
Which would require a special use permit,
Yeah.
which we currently don't have. But we also don't want to give a special use permit to outside corporations outside of our county and losing that money.
Yeah. I mean, I get it and I understand. I just don't see how we could do it to a single property owner that wants to rent out his own house. Multiple houses, I can see that. Multiple dwellings, I can definitely see that. That's kind of a hotel with different cabins, if you will.
Right.
Additionally, is it if they go 6 months without renting it, it's their primary residence, and then they go back to renting it, does that require another special use permit?
Yeah. Good point.
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's when you get into a whole lot of extra paperwork.
Yeah. All right,
And
anything
you're
else?
gonna grandfather in the other 600 that are already in place.
Right, already
Or
grant them.
800 or 1,000 or 2,000, I have
Who
no
knows, we
idea.
don't have a number because we can't track them.
I've probably had over 100 calls this year.
Well, and then
And
how,
that's the ones that call, the rest of them never check.
and how you're gonna enforce it moving forward too.
Well, I don't know. But if there was, a stipulation in place, then it would be a little bit more enforceable.
Well, I agree, but we have issues throughout the county that we don't enforce. So.
Yeah, I can't get Shaq to address any of them either.
You wouldn't be addressing any of them if I didn't push the envelope all the way across the table. Planning and zoning can recommend to the Board of Commissioners that they direct the planning department to come up with how this would work.
I already have. Got voted down.
I mean,
Yeah.
the answers to all their questions.
And I came up with Plan B, and it's been poo-pooed by the attorney.
I mean, I think it's something that BOCC needs to consider, but I think there are a lot of stipulations that need to be, ironed out before it's actually implemented.
Agreed.
I don't know if that calls for a recommendation or what, but, I mean,
You guys could all bring your thoughts on it back to the next meeting.
You'd have to formulate a list of what would or wouldn't be addressed or not addressed, or dealt with or not.
so then we could write down all our thoughts and then send them to you. Let's do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because if we go to them without answers to all these questions,
They're gonna want to
they're
know
just,
what-
they're
gonna want to
they're
know
gonna ask
answers.
us the same questions. Right?
And they could come back with a whole nother directive,
Right.
like they did last time. Let's do 1 acres up the Dolores River Valley.
No.
And that created a can of worms whenever 1,000 people were in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us some thought.
Okay.
We'll be on year 4 pretty quick.
Year 4 of this?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a lot of,
The ship's already sailed, so that's what you're gonna do to catch up or at least start somewhere.
Can you swim fast?
no, I'm a floater, but I'm not a real strong swimmer.
I'm a sinker.
Yeah. All right. You get motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Everybody, aye, at
You got out of here
7:30.
2 hours earlier than you did
Thanks,
last
John.
Did it go 9? 10?
night. 9:30.
That'll do it.
Thank you.
Yep, see you.
How do we know how many people are watching on YouTube?
Well, you can go on there,